The notification arrives at 11:47, a soft chime against the kitchen counter where his phone has been face down since breakfast. He doesn't pick it up immediately. He lets it sit there while the coffee cools, while the morning light shifts from pale yellow to something closer to white, while the neighbor's dog finishes its routine of barking at the mail carrier and retreating. Only then does he turn the screen over, thumb hovering above the app icon. The same one he has opened probably 400 times this month without once posting anything himself. He scrolls. He likes a photo of someone he hasn't spoken to in 2 years. A sunset from a vacation he wasn't invited to. A plate of food from a restaurant he will never visit. Each tap is decisive, almost aggressive in its speed, as if the gesture itself might go unnoticed if he doesn't commit to it fully. He leaves comments sometimes, short things, warm things. Things that cost him almost nothing to type and even less to send. The words leave his fingers before his mind has fully approved them, which is precisely the point. Online, generosity is frictionless. You can hand out approval like confetti and never once have to look anyone in the eye while you do it. But 3 hours later, at the grocery store, he sees the same person whose sunset he liked. She is reaching for avocados 3 bins down. Then he feels something close to panic. Not because she has done anything wrong, but because the version of himself that exists in her phone, the one that tapped that heart so casually, does not match the person now standing in the produce section in sweatpants. Pretending to examine the ripeness of a mango he has no intention of buying. He keeps his head down. He does not say hello. He tells himself he is just tired, that it would be awkward now after so long anyway. The truth is simpler and harder to admit. The digital version of him is braver because it is not really him at all. This is the quiet fracture that runs through a particular kind of person. The kind who gives away warmth in pixels and hoards it in person. The phone becomes a kind of prosthetic, an extension that allows them to reach further than their actual nerves will stretch. Studies on self-monitoring suggest that people who score high on this trait behave like actors. Actors who have memorized different scripts for different stages. Online, the script is generous, engaged, effortlessly social. Offline, the same person reverts to a smaller vocabulary of gestures. A body that seems to shrink slightly in shared physical space. The discrepancy is not hypocrisy. It is exhaustion. The energy required to perform sociability in person is finite. And for some, it depletes faster than it replenishes. Online, the performance is stripped of its most costly elements. You don't have to modulate your voice, time your pauses, read micro-expressions in real time, or absorb the ambient anxiety of a room. You can compose yourself between sentences, delete what doesn't land. Revise until the version you send feels manageable. Research on post-event rumination shows that socially anxious people often replay conversations for hours afterward, dissecting every word for evidence of failure. The digital buffer removes some of this risk. You can craft a response, walk away, come back, change it, or simply never send it at all. The draft folder becomes a graveyard of nearly expressed thoughts. Each one a small ghost of a self that almost showed up. But here's where the story gets heavier. Then it happens quietly, the way a room darkens when clouds pass overhead without you noticing the moment of transition. He has been doing this for years. The ratio has shifted so gradually he never marked the day when his online self became more socially active than his physical one. At some point, the likes and comments accumulated into a kind of identity. A persona that felt more coherent than the person who woke up each morning unsure of what version of himself the day would require. And that is the part that stings. The more he performed warmth online, the less certain he became about whether the warmth was real or just well-rehearsed. Self-concept clarity, the degree to which you hold a stable sense of who you are, tends to erode when your behavior varies sharply across contexts without you understanding why. Passive social media use, the kind that involves endless scrolling and liking without creating anything of your own, has been linked to lower self-concept clarity. The mechanism is almost poetic in its cruelty. You spend hours absorbing the curated lives of others, comparing your unfiltered interior to their polished exteriors. Then slowly the edges of your own self-image begin to blur. You know what you are not, but you are no longer sure what you are. He thinks about this sometimes at night, when the phone is charging on the nightstand. Then the apartment is quiet enough that his own thoughts feel loud. He remembers a time, years ago, when he spoke up in meetings. When he accepted invitations without calculating the social cost. When he could stand in a room and feel like he belonged there, rather than like he was trespassing. He is not sure when that person left, or if he is still in there somewhere, buried under layers of caution and rehearsal. The person who likes every post online is not a liar, exactly. He is someone who has found a way to participate without risking exposure, to be present without being seen, to give without having to receive in return. There is a particular loneliness to this arrangement that is hard to name, because it is self-inflicted and therefore feels unworthy of complaint. He has hundreds of digital interactions a week, and almost none that require him to be fully there. The likes are real enough, the comments sincere enough, but they exist in a space where vulnerability has been edited out, where the risk of rejection has been minimized to the point of meaninglessness. Rejection sensitivity, the anxious expectation of being excluded or judged, drives much of this behavior. Studies show that people who fear negative evaluation often compensate by becoming hyper-engaged. Liking and commenting as a form of social insurance, a way to stay visible without being scrutinized. It works, sort of. He is rarely ignored online. He is rarely approached in person. The grocery store encounter stays with him longer than it should. He replays it while brushing his teeth, while waiting for the elevator, while staring at the app icon on his phone, the same one from the morning, now glowing with 3 new notifications. He opens it. Someone has posted a photo of a party he was not invited to, and he likes it immediately, before he has even processed whether the gesture is kind or just habitual. The heart appears, red and decisive. And for a moment, he feels the familiar pulse of connection, the brief illusion that he is part of something. Then he sets the phone down, then looks at the dark window across the room, where his own reflection stares back, slightly out of focus. A person who has spent years learning how to be seen, without ever quite learning how to show up. Subscribe if you want to notice these patterns sooner, in yourself and in the people around you. Subscribe if you'd rather look closer at what's running underneath the gestures we all perform without thinking. Until next time, sleep well.